What's up, YouTube? How yes everybody been? As you can see, I'm back in Raleigh for my spring break and all that crap. And I picked up some vinyls a couple of days ago, and by far, I'm kind of amazed by what I found so far. Excuse me for one quick minute. I try not to drink a lot of soda, but at the same time, I'm kind of in a sun-kissed mood. But other than that, I picked some vinyls up, and I'm about to share them with you guys right about now. First vinyl is this one. Marvin Gaye's "Here My Dear." This is like his 15th studio album, released in 1978 under Tamla Records, under basically under Motown. Singles this album is known for are only came out with two singles: "Funky Space Reincarnation" and "Anger." I've done a review on this, mentioned this album countless times on this channel. You guys should already know this is a masterpiece. Marvin Gaye's best work in my opinion. One thing I love about this album, he was going through a divorce from his wife, Anna Gordy, which is which is Barry Gordy's daughter. I mean, not excuse me, sister. So, and also like I love like he kind of went like jazzy with this. I mean, like this album and "I Want You" are like his most underrated works in my opinion. But at the same time, though, it's like very. At the same time, it. How can I put it? How can I put it? It gets respect, but it doesn't get a lot of respect. This is Marvin Gaye's "Here My Dear" 1978. I when I saw this when I saw this I had to take it quick though. I know I have the CD version, but I gave the CD to one of my best friends and stuff. So I just took this vinyl version. Very dope album artwork. I don't think I mentioned this in the review, but dope album artwork. I'm trying to fix the light on this one. You see this? Um, okay, I think this is. I can work with this. All right. Then we have another album I did a review on. Rolling Stones "Tattoo You," their 18th studio album, released in 1981 on their own label. Singles album is known for this one's known for "Start Me Up," classic song. Um, I think "Worried About You" that was a single. Hang Hang Fire, yeah, Hang Fire was a single too, and "Waiting on a Friend." This is like their last really good album in my opinion. I mean, this although like a lot of people kind of shit on this record because they basically redid unreleased songs, they still redid it around this time of this album, so it still counts though as a classic studio album. I mean, they kind of take the same approach as other artists like the Isley Brothers done. One side is like the more upbeat kind of rock, and then the next side is like the ballads and stuff. So finally glad I got my hands on this album. I need to do a review on the other albums, most notably Brown Sugar too. Rolling Stones "Tattoo You." Alright, so I got those two out the way. This is the main thing. Let me see what I'm gonna pick this time. Let me see. Oh shit, here's a good one. Grover Washington Jr. Mr. Magic, released in give me a minute. 1975. Kudu Records. But this is a Motown. This is the Motown reissue of this album, which came out I think sometime in the mid '90s. And the difference between the original and the reissues, like the cover art, is the cover art is more brighter. More, I think the cover is like more brighter than usual for this one. Grover Washington Jr. You guys should know he's a famous jazz musician. Um, a lot of people know him. A lot of people know him for the song he did with Bill Withers, "Just the Two of Us." Da, 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 da. Everyone knows that song. Got them a Grammy. To be honest, with you guys, I'm not really big on his music, but this is like a classic album when it comes to like jazz fusion, like jazz R&B kind of fusion. And that's the thing about the '70s too, because that was a time when jazz and R&B kind of mixed together around that era. Most notably, like you had what's the dude's name? George Benson. He was like a highly like his late '70s to early to mid '80s like classic example. You had Roy Ayers, and this is another album that kind of solidified that. I always dug this album artwork, very dope and shit like that. Other than that, I'm gonna try to do a review on this. I need to start doing jazz review albums, a jazz review series too, cause I've gotten like a lot of jazz albums recently. So, Grove Washington Jr., Mr. Magic, 1975, must have in your collection. Next album. Oh, this is a good one. A lot of people are gonna be surprised I got this one. This is Aretha Franklin's criminally underrated album, her 20th studio album. Hey Now Hey, The Other Side of the Sky, released in 1973 on Atlantic Records. Um, Aretha Franklin. Do I need to say more? Queen of Soul, one of the greatest singers. She's like up there with like Sam Cooke, Ray Charles. Mm. One of the best singers of all time. Singles albums known for are. Hold on, give me 1 minute. They came out with two singles. One of them is Angel, Angel, which is like I think that was like a tribute to her sister. If I'm not, that was a tribute to her sister. Actually, a very, very, very good song. I love that song. And the other one is Master of Eyes. But the thing about that song is, it's not on the original album. To be for some odd reason, when they re-released this album, when they re-released this album, I'm sorry. Let me fix this light. It's hate. I'll just deal with it. Yeah, when they re-released this album back in the '90s on CD, they added that song to it. So yeah, produced by Quincy Jones himself. Um, Lil Trip. This is actually originally supposed to be a jazz album, but they thought it won't catch on with a lot of her commercial crowd, or her fans would not really dig this album like that because it was jazz. Okay, I'm sorry about all this. So yeah, that's why they kind of mixed in a little jazz, a little R&B. And at the time when this was released, critics actually did not like it for some odd reason because they thought that she went way experiment. This was like a experimental record she did, and also and like but over the time they kind of eased up. They said it's actually one of her best and most underrated recording. So yeah, um, 1967 to 1976. That was like Aretha Franklin, in my opinion, at her prime. Don't get me wrong, she has done a lot of dope work over the years. Sometimes over the years, she's done like a lot of dope work. Mine is like the disco era. I'm not really gonna get into that. But like albums like yeah, Young Gifted and Black. I never loved another man. I never loved a man that the way that I loved you. What was that one album? The Sparkle soundtrack. Yeah, there she was on a prime. around this time. So Aretha Franklin, the Hey Now Hey, The Other Side of the Sky, 1973 must have. And we have I Had to Get This. Natalie Cole's Inseparable, released in 1975. Rest in peace, Natalie Cole. I mean, wow. Still in shock by that. This is like her debut album on Capitol Records. Singles I'm known for are "This Will Be" and "Inseparable." "This Will Be" the song "This Will Be" that was actually the first time I actually heard Natalie Cole, and I remember I heard every time I hear that song, it reminds me of two things: the movie Parent Trap, the Lindsay Lohan movie Parent Trap. Um, cause that they played that song like in the ending credits. That was actually what got me into Natalie Cole. And every time the He Eat Harmony commercials that always be coming on, it just brings me back to like that time I heard this song back in Parent Trap. Other than that, this is an amazing album. Natalie Cole, daughter of Nat King Cole. I mean, amazing album. And it's a shame too because a lot of people know her for the fact that she covers her dad's songs and of course her drug problems. But don't get me wrong though, as much as I love the fact that she did cover her dad's song, she paid homage to her dad. When I think of Natalie Cole, I think of like her prime, like in the '70s, and some of her stuff like in the '80s and stuff. Inseparable. Oh, another thing too. She actually made headlines with this album, where she actually won the best female R&B vocal performance, and she beat Aretha Franklin too. And Aretha, she won that from like 1967 to 1976. Was 1975. So yeah, that was a huge moment. That was a very huge moment and stuff. So Natalie Cole, Inseparable, 1975. I definitely got to do a review on this album. Rest in peace, Natalie Cole. Your legacy will live on. Then we have Sarita with One on One, released in 1977 on Tamla Records. This is actually her third studio album. Sarita Wright, if you guys don't know, you guys have probably heard that name before. She was actually Stevie Wonder's ex-wife slash Motown recording artist. She dropped her first album, her first self-titled album, Sarita, back in 1972. And then fast forward to 1974, she drops Stevie Wonder Presents Sarita, which was an album I need to get my hands on because I've heard a lot of dope stuff about that album. Very good album right there. Um, yeah. Sing only came out with one single, which is I believe Harm of Love. Harm of Love, yeah. And crazy thing about it is Stevie Wonder was actually supposed to produce this album for her, but around that time he was busy doing the whole Songs in the Key of Life album that he actually oh shit damn that he actually only produced Harm of Love for her. So yeah, Sarita One on One, released in 1977. I believe this is actually out of print too. I believe so. If you can find it, must have in your collection. Excuse me, y'all. Just now next album. Oh, speaking of Stevie Wonder, this is Stevie Wonder's groundbreaking 16th studio album, Innovisions, released in 1973 on Tamla under Motown. Man, I tell you what, gosh, when I tell you about an album that really touches my soul, or really takes me to like another, what the hell is up with this fucking light, man? Ugh. Oh, sorry about that. When I talk about an album that really touches my soul or takes me to like another planet, this is the album that really comes to mind. This is like a lot of people have said this is his best album, like among his best works. This is I can agree with that, but my favorite album from him is basically Talking Book. Talking Book. That's like my favorite album from him. But this album, it's like a classic album. It came out with about four singles: "Living for the City," "Higher Ground," "Don't You Worry About a Thing." I'm sorry, "Don't You Worry About a Thing," and "He's Mr. Know It All." Yeah, so this is like a very political album. Like he talks about drug abuse, Richard Nixon's presidency. He talks about religion, and the crazy thing about this is like 3 days after this album was released, he got into like this major car accident around in Durham and shit like that. So he was in the hospital for he was recovering from it for a while. And basically, this album, they a lot of people kind of link this album to the car accident too. So this is crazy. I'm definitely gonna do a review on this sometime. Um, I need to do a review on a couple of his other albums first, and because I already done one on Hotter Than July. But other than that, this is Innovisions. Oh, another thing. He actually made history because he was like the first black artist to experiment with like a lot of technology on a mass scale, and in a way, this was kind of like influential with a lot of music at the time, like neo soul, yeah, like hip hop. A lot of people kind of say that, yeah, a lot of people kind of say this was like his best album because of that. And one of my favorite songs off this album, probably my favorite song, is Visions. Like, whew. But well, I'm gonna wait till I review this album before I get to that song. But y'all gonna be surprised when I show y'all this next final. Y'all gonna be kind of surprised though, but I don't care. This album, this is one of those classic albums everyone should have in their collection. This is on Carole King, Tempestry. This is a second studio album released in 1971 on, I believe, Old Records. Carole King, she's like a folk rock singer. She's done like a lot of work with like James Taylor, another folk rock legend, in my opinion. This is an iconic album right here. I mean, it's like one of the best selling albums of all time. I believe it's like the second best selling female album by a female artist. The first one I believe is Whitney Houston, the Bodyguard soundtrack. Singles I was known for are "It's Too Late," "I Feel the Earth Move," "So Far Away," and "Smackwater Jack." This album is so laid back. I mean, I love this album so much. It takes me to like it's like so peaceful. This whole album. What a damn thunder shit. I mean, she has like a very dope voice too. Like that octave range she has, and this album won like got her 4 Grammys, including Album of the Year. And also, she's actually gonna perform this album and the whole album live, like around July and stuff like that in London. So stay tuned for that. This is Carole King Tempestry. I gotta do a review on this album too. It's a classic right there. Let's see what's next. I got Aretha Franklin's 1980 album Aretha, released in 1980 on Arista. This is actually the first album on Arista too, and it's a 28 studio album. Singles album is known for it only came out with two singles, United Together, classic song in my opinion, and What a Fool Believes, which is actually of course a cover of the Doobie Brothers song What a Fool Believes. But I kind of like this version better. I feel like she did this version justice. Very dope album. It's like a fresh album for her, a new sound and everything. This was kind of like a comeback for her because by the time the late '70s happened, she kind of experimented with disco, and it kind of got her some of the worst reviews of her life. And her commercial was gone too. Her commercial acceptance was kind of gone too. I'm sorry, I got distracted by something. So yeah, so this is like a fresh. Although it's like a lot of beat songs, her voice was on point with this one. So Aretha Franklin's Aretha album, 1980. My man Peebo Bryson with on the Crosswinds album. His third studio album, 1978 on Capitol Records. Peebo Bryson. For those you don't know, he's a singer, soul singer. Um, very underrated in my opinion. I mean, this dude was very. He had like a very dope tenor voice, and he was most pop. A lot of people know him because he done like a lot of stuff for Disney. Like he done the theme song for. He did the Beauty and the Beast. The song Beauty and the Beast was Celine Dion. He's done a whole new world. Regina Belle. He's done countless duets with like Natalie Cole, Roberta Flack. If I'm not mistaken, I think he done some stuff for Dionne Warwick. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that about that. Yeah, this is his third studio album. Singles I'm known for are "I'm So Into You," "Crosswinds," and "She's a Woman." Very good album right here. I mean, this is '70s soul at its finest. Like, um, hmm, I mean, he is very underrated in my opinion. I don't hear a lot of people talk about Peebo Bryson like that. Like, although people talk about Marvin Gaye, Barry White, Teddy Pendergrass, Isaac Hayes, but not a lot of Peebo Bryson. So Peebo Bryson, Crosswinds, 1978. Um, must have in your collection if you're a fan of Peebo. Speaking of Barry White, this is his first album. I've got so much to give, released in 1973 on 20th Century Fox. I mean, wow. Oof. A lot when you say the name Barry White, you don't know what to expect, man. I mean, okay, single only came out with like two singles. I got so much to give, and I'm gonna love you just a little bit more, maybe. Barry White, man. I mean, this is a perfect example of an artist who like produces everything, arranged a lot of his composed and arranged everything. I mean, Barry White in the '70s was just, mm, that's all. That's all I want to say. I need to get some more of his albums too, and I need to get, of course, I need to get like the Stone Gone. I need to get what's that one album he came out with in 1977? Barry White sings for somebody to love, something like that. So yeah, Barry White. I've got so much to give. Classic album, you must have in your collection. We got about three more left. I'm so happy I found this one. This is Mariah Carey self-titled debut album, self-titled debut iconic classic album, released in 1990 on I think Sony Records, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Sony. Yeah, Mariah Carey. This is when wow. I'm sorry. It was actually Columbia Records, but she used to be so bad back in the day. She's still pretty, but like, she still got it. But at the same time, she had it back in the '90s. She had it all. Like, the voice, the look. Everything about her was just amazing. Singles I was known for are "Vision of Love," "Love Takes Time," "Someday," "I Don't Wanna Cry." Love that song. And "There's Got to Be a Way." Man, this is one of my favorite R&B albums of all time. Probably this album, Daydream, um, Music Box, and Emancipation to me were my top four albums from her. I don't know. After she came out with E equals MC squared, her music kind of went a little bit. I mean, I don't know. This was just Mariah at her prime. I'm definitely going to do a review on this one too. What else about this album? Like, this album won countless awards, Grammys, American Music Awards. She just amazing album, classic album, must have in your collection. Notice I have a lot of soul albums. Al Green's Call Me album, 1973, on let's see, what's the name? High, I think her name is High Records. Yes, Al Green. With this album and Living for You, these were like his best albums in my opinion. Like, his music from like the early to mid '70s all the way up to like the Bell album was just amazing. Singles I was known for are "Call Me, Come Back Home." All my Joel Ortiz fans should know about that song. "Here I Am, Come and Take Me," and "You Ought to Be with Me." And this album was kind of more versatile for him because he did some country sing covers of like Hank Williams, including "I'm So Lonesome that I Could Cry." And like, this is where he really found his style, like his sound. Like, this, I think, was like "I'm Still in Love with You." He found it, but he mastered it with this album. Like, classic album. This is like one of the best Southern Soul albums of all time. Must have. And now I gotta save the best. I gotta save this one for last. This is the Temptations, 1990, released in 1973 on Gordy on the Motown. Wow, this is actually my first Temptations album I actually copped. What can I say about Temptations? I mean, of course, 1973. This was after David Ruffin got fired, Eddie Kendricks quit, Paul Williams killed himself around this time. Out of all the groups, they probably the most group that had the most personal changes, like about 30 something changes to them. It's not even funny. And they really, I don't know what number album this is because they released hella album, but I believe it's like around the teens, if I'm not mistaken. Now this was a very controversial album because here's the thing: around the time, the early '70s, no wait, the late '60s to early '70s, they were working with Norman Whitfield, and Norman Whitfield, he got them to like the more psychedelic era of the Temptations, and a lot of longtime fans did not like the fact they were doing psychedelic music because they liked the more structured soul Temptations. But even Otis Williams, he actually made a comment that he didn't like, none of the members liked the time they did psychedelic and stuff. And so, also, this album was controversial because of the fact, like, well, let me get to the singles. I'll explain why. I only came out with like one official single, which is like "Let Your Hair Down." But I believe "Heavenly" was supposed to be a single, but according to my research, It was they actually I believe they refused to play the Had the thing because I think a couple of DJs got mad because of the fact that they did not think they they didn't thank the United States for an American Music Awards, so they refused to play the other singles from this album, which caused this album to be a commercial at the time a commercial disappointment. And wow, this was actually the last album they did with Norman Whitfield too. Oh, I forgot to say, Let Your Hair Down has Rose Royce in background vocals. And I believe that was like their first appearance on Wax, if I'm not mistaken. And this is like way before the Car Wash soundtrack. Cause Rose Royce was they were Norman Whitfield's proteges. But yeah, I have not heard this album yet, but I've heard mixed reviews so far. I mean, I saw it for like, it only cost me like $1, so I just kind of like I need some Temptations too. I mean, a lot of people say it was a good album. A lot of people say it was not a good album, and then there's some people who just be like, it kind of like them scratching their heads about it. But this is the Temptations 1990, released in 1973. I think this album was actually out of print too, but I'm not too sure. And that's all the time I have. Thank you for watching this vid. Peace.